meeting to order, and let's rise and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Susan, was the meeting properly noticed?
The meeting was properly noticed.
Okay. Is there any public comment on anything which is not on the town's agenda this evening? Hearing none, we will move on with approval of minutes from August 15th board meeting. Those were in your packet. Should have had a chance to look at them. Any questions, comments, or motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 15th, 2023 town board meeting.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Joy, second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes from the July 18th town board meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Police chief's report, Jerry.
So I will be picking up the new squad tomorrow afternoon.
Yay.
Good news, finally. Big day for all of us. Since Joey had won Thursday or Friday I think of last week at 91.
Oh.
And had a wave at it, and, I mean, way beyond the pickup truck's capabilities, so
Wow.
he'll be most excited. But yeah, so the squad I picked that up tomorrow. Still needs to be striped and then outfitted. The outfitter's hoping to move his schedule around and get it in within the next 2 to 3 weeks, so hopefully. The boat and jet ski are winterized and put away for the year. We ended the season with 71 citations and 22 warnings. That's double of what last year they wrote 32 citations. This year 71. A couple of things I think because of the nice weather we had and lack of rain. We hired Jim at the beginning of the boating season, so we had 2 out a lot, so that helped out as well. And that is all I have.
Any questions for Jerry?
Or most of those citations slow, no wake citations?
Yeah, I have a breakdown I can send to you, but yeah, slow no wake and PFDs. You know, fire extinguishers were like a few, registration a few, navigation rules a few, but the majority were slow no wake and failure to have the proper number of PFDs.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great work, you guys.
Thanks.
Jerry, is the new sign up at the boat launch with the slow no wake? I think it was painted and it was in the maintenance, and I had a complaint from somebody who received the citation saying, yeah, you could read it, but it was really hard.
I was down there a few days ago and I don't recall seeing it.
I think it's there. I was down there just riding my motorcycle the other day, and I saw it.
I didn't even look, so I don't.
I launched my kayak a couple weeks ago.
It was
and
very
there.
visible.
It was very
Brand new.
visible.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Jerry? Good, okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Ponder, I see you made it in the, so how about a report on the Board of Review?
Okay, my name is John Pounder. I am the assessor for the town of Oakland. Update on Board of Review. As you know, Board of Review is completed. Final tally assessment roll was submitted to Jefferson County, and everything balanced out the way as it should. And so I'm proceeding to complete the municipal assessor's report for the Department of Revenue and move forward. As you know, we had some Property owners that were waived directly into circuit court have not gotten any action on that at this point in time.
We have one that we've received. We've been served with one.
Okay.
So,
And just as a note, I'm asking the board to consider providing legal representation for required appearances at circuit court.
well, so far, you're not named, only we are, so.
And unfortunately, I'm your expert witness.
So we will be taking that under advisement. I've asked for guidance from legal counsel,
Okay,
so.
that's fine.
Any questions from John at this point? How you feeling?
I do appreciate all the consideration the board gave me. Medical update. Things are moving along well now.
Okay, good,
Good to hear.
good to hear. Okay,
Amen.
clerk treasurer's report, Susan?
We were able to install our new municipal accounting software today. It's called Workhorse. And with the installation, and then we'll be having training later this week, that will allow us to start the budget process. We have no documents. All we have right now is just a bunch of numbers that we've been collecting from various sources. So we will have a much better idea of what a budget is going to look like next month.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Cambridge Community Fire EMS District Commission report, one was put on your pile. Sheila, do you want to speak to anything, or?
Sure. Just a few current updates. The firm that was hired to do the bookkeeping updates and generate the financial reports, they've completed enough of the work so far that it's reasonable to think that the 2023 expense performance is supported by the year-to-date income and assessments for the 2023 budget. The Fire Commission had a budget meeting in open session yesterday at the Town of Christiana office. All 5 of us were present, as well as the fire chief, retired fire chief Terry Johnson, the district EMS chief, district EMS deputy chief, and others from the Town of Christiana and the village of Cambridge. Both the fire and EMS had presented their budget requests prior to the meeting and were discussed among many other budget items, including insurance and future capital expenses. The tentative, and this is tentative, result of the budget meeting, because we have another meeting coming up this coming Thursday where we will vote on a budget after we finish up some work. The tentative result of the budget meeting is that the Fire Commission will not ask the municipalities for an increase in tax contributions for the 2024 budget. We will be spending, we did spend, myself and the chief EMS, district EMS chief spent today working on their budget some more. I wanted to go through things with a fine-tooth comb just to verify that this is a reasonable thought, you know, a reasonable assumption that we can make that work with the same tax money that we got from the municipalities. So we'll finish that up tomorrow and Thursday morning if need be, and then we will vote on that on Thursday evening. The meeting is at 6:30. Let's see. Then, and just to be clear, if that happens, the assessments would remain the same as 2023 if this works out as planned, and then the expenses would be supported by that plus the additional revenues that come in through run dollars. So far, Year-to-date, I believe we have just about $200,000, just shy of $200,000 in run income. We were budgeted for $250,000. It's reasonable to expect that we will come in around $300,000 in run income for this year. Some of that won't come in until 2024 because it's usually 30 to 45 days out from the time that it's actually billed through LifeQuest, which is the billing company. And then the additional revenue is the revenue that is $60 per capita from Lake Mills, which is the additional EMS service that we're providing for that portion of the town of Lake Mills that we also provide fire service to. Okay, and that is on an 18-month contract at this point. So you'll know more after Thursday. Okay, and then if that's approved, or when a budget is approved, of course, it will come back to the municipalities, the towns, and the villages for review. But we're on track to get that to you in plenty of time for us to work on our own budget, for everybody to work on their own budgets.
Okay, good. Any other questions?
I have a question. So Sheila, are you saying then the line-by-line items, so we have a handle on, or there's true numbers then, this is what the budget was for '23 and this is how much has been spent on that line item for '23? We have that all broken down?
We have it through the end of June right now. We're working on finishing up the rest.
Okay.
And we are living within the 2024 or the 2023 budget, and then the additional revenue that we have come by through runs and through the Lake Mills.
So then I have two questions follow-up to that.
Mhm.
So when will that information be available to the public?
We should have it all done, within 3 or 4 weeks. Part of it is we're making the transition also to a bookkeeper in the state. We are also upgrading the bookkeeping software, the QuickBooks software. We've run into some snags with getting access and changing over account contact, administrative contact. The contacts needed to be updated, and you can't do upgrades or any changes in the bookkeeping software until they verify, that the right person is actually requesting to do this. We can't just go in and, say, I'm in charge. We have to verify. So that's been a bit of a process and a learning curve for some people. And just as a note about that, that will be corrected for the future. Passwords and administrative contacts will be updated anytime there's a change. Passwords for anything that the Fire Commission owns will soon be in a safe deposit box where those things are accessible when needed or any time that there's a change, so that we don't run into situations like this in the future.
And then my second question,
Mhm.
then I'll stop. My second question is, you said about the run income.
Mhm.
I understand that there's privatized transports going on. Is that included in that run income? So they're doing transports like from Fort Hospital to Milwaukee. Is that part of that run income that you're anticipating is going to be that $300,000 number by the end of the year?
What do you mean by privatized? You mean
So
like?
they're transporting a patient from
Mhm.
Fort Hospital to Milwaukee
Mhm.
in the ambulance.
Mhm.
That's, in my opinion, privatized transport. Because they're taking one patient, it's not a 911 call.
Mhm.
They're just simply taking that patient from point A to point B.
There have been a
Is
few of,
that-
as
is
I
that
understand,
included in this $300,000?
as I understand it, but I'd have to confirm, okay, that would be included. but we would need to confirm that.
I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
I was just wanting to ask a question following up from last month's meeting. You were talking about having minutes from previous on the website. I haven't seen anything updated yet. Can you tell us when that might be?
I need permission to build a website, and we need to vote on that.
Not on a website, can't they be on the Rockdale website with?
They can, and that'd be incumbent upon each of the individual towns and villages to do that, but a more efficient way would be for the fire commission to put up a website, which is very inexpensive to do, and for the fire commission to post the minutes and agendas on there, and then all the towns and villages would have to do from that point is put on a permanent link, and then they don't have to constantly update or look for those things. They just have a permanent link back to the fire commission page, and then it's only incumbent upon me or whoever's in charge of that to put that there. We also, since last month, we have not had a meeting to approve minutes yet. We have to have that meeting this Thursday. When this Thursday?
This week Thursday?
Yes, yep, at 6:30 in Christiana.
And where's the posting for that meeting?
It'll be posted all over in the morning. So I just been busy all day, haven't had a chance to post it yet, but it'll be out in the morning. So that's 2 days, right? We're good still, right? Okay. So, or it may go out yet tonight if I have time, so.
I just have one additional question.
Yes.
So last month, I asked about the contract with the town of Mills, and I was told nobody knew anything about the contract. I had gone to several meetings since then to all the different municipalities, and no one knew about the contract. Now, there is a contract, and if so, I guess my questions at the last meeting here were, what about all the expenses? Great, we're getting income, but how much is it gonna cost us to make that money? Has there been a cost analysis presented, and if so, where is it?
I have seen the costs so far. I've discussed it at length with Paul Blount. There is a contract. I have not laid my eyes on it yet, but I asked that question today when in our meeting. I will lay my eyes on it before Thursday. I'm told it's an 18-month contract. It's a very simple contract. That it is $60 per capita at this point, based on, I believe, 2,000 people. So.
I think, let me just, Jana, when we get it, we will make it available.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
That's, we're waiting for them to do their machinations, and when it comes to
I guess I'm just wondering who authorized that contract.
that, we'll find that out when we see it.
Yep.
Okay.
And just a quick, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm new to the area.
Yes.
Can you please explain what the acronym RUN stands for?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
It is the EMS, the emergency medical response, the EMS or paramedic
Okay.
calls. So they're called a run. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yep. And so they would transport, and when they transport, we bill for that. Or
Okay.
okay. Just quickly though, to address this, I do know that the town of Lake Mills, in addition to the per capita amount, has agreed in this contract, they pay the per capita, plus we have all run income, plus any housing, when they come up with a location to house an ambulance, they pay for that. We incur no expense for any housing, none. And this is not for a full-time staff. This is staffed by part-time and paid-on-call personnel.
I really think
Okay.
this will be better if we get the paperwork and everybody can see it, then we can ask intelligent
it.
questions and give intelligent answers.
Okay,
Agreed.
So,
I'm done.
okay.
Thank you.
Jerry, authorize hiring a new police officer.
So I mentioned at the last meeting, the possibility of hiring another patrol officer, Noah Sampson. Noah is from the Fort Atkinson area originally. After college, spent some time in the military, then went to Dane County Sheriff. Dane County Sheriff, you start out in the jail, then you move out to patrol by seniority. He ended up not wanting to wait that long, so he went to Fort PD, where he's been at Fort Atkinson PD now for several years. He's a training officer, and did a background on him. Nothing but good was said about him. So he came to us. Vanessa kind of recruited him for us, so he's interested in working out here. So myself,
Yeah, we interviewed him one day last week.
yeah.
So it looks promising, and I think he's wanting very much to be here, so.
Yeah, because my concern with, this would put us at 8 officers. Armando's pretty much seasonal for boat patrol. Jim's pretty much seasonal for boat patrol. And then Jake Danner just went to patrol recently at the county, and they have so much overtime that he's pretty much unavailable to work out here, and I see that being long-term. So this would help us out greatly.
Okay. We would need a motion to authorize the hiring of the new police officer, Noah Sampson.
So moved.
And a second? Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion any opposed? Motion carries. And we'll schedule for him to come in and do take his oath with clerk.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Next item, discussion, possible action on town board representatives to the Town of Oakland Planning Committee and the Lake Management District. You all received from Jimmy his resignation as the town's representative. And in addition to that, I would like to see if we can find someone else to also do the Planning Commission, which I currently do. And it would be nice for someone else to get a little bit involved with that. I asked Mr. Jensen if he wanted to consider one or the other of those, and he said he'd answer me tonight.
Who chairs the planning committee?
Tom Schabowski is the Planning Committee Chair, and then there's Jim Rowe,
Tom Hensel.
Tom Hensel, and Joe Pleshik, who lives actually fairly close to, lives downhill from Jimmy more or less. Those are the people that are on it, and then I said, right now I'm the board's representative, have been for years, so.
Yeah, I'm fine doing that if you want me to do it.
Okay. So, would anybody like to move to appoint Tom to the, to be the planning committee rep?
I'll move to appoint Tom.
I'll second it.
Okay. Moved and seconded to appoint Tom as plan committee representative from the town board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would be willing to step into the Lake Management District for the time being as we kind of work through things. And that, by freeing me up, that would kind of help with that. I'm willing to do that if you want. It's up to you guys.
So you need a motion to
Yes.
appoint you to, as the town representative for the Lake Ripley Management District.
Yes.
I'll move for Ted to do that.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Discussion, possible action on brush pickup on the week of October 16th. We normally do brush pickup in the spring and in the fall. This year, the spring came around just right after we had a bunch of storms. The problem that we have coming into the fall here is we are down to only one person. Jeff has gotten all kinds of good news that his rehab is going really well. The doctor's indicated that he's probably going to move up his return to duty date, but they're going to return to duty with limited to only driving, which means we're not going to have two people to do brush pickup. So what I would say is that we should cancel and make every effort to notify the residents to please bring stuff here. That we just, due to Jeff being out on medical leave, we just have no other option at this point.
Has it been posted at all?
Not yet.
October 16th, so I don't think it'd be a problem then.
No, but people expect it, so we just need to communicate effectively and stuff.
Yeah,
to-
there's
to
people,
do-
there's people that have stuff out already.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Near
so-
me.
Hmm.
So I would entertain a motion to cancel the fall brush pickup normally scheduled for October 16th this year because of being short personnel.
So
I'll
moved.
move. Oh, go ahead.
So moved.
Move second,
Second.
then Joy. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. We'll work on getting some notices out. Okay. We have a discussion and possible action on a conditional use permit to allow for extensive on-site storage in an R2 zone at N4209 County Road A, which is parcel 022-0613-0841-015. Elmer and I forget your name.
Brenda.
Brenda, come on up and talk to us.
He's deaf, so I'm gonna help him.
Just like last time,
Go ahead.
starting with the second COVID vaccination shot and the subsequent boosters, I'm losing my hearing. So Brenda will be in my ears for me and answer anything that needs to be answered.
So Brenda, talk to us just briefly.
He's putting up a 30 by 32 pole shed. In the back, you have all of those, the planning committee had all of those,
Okay, they do.
had all those figures and those pictures. He's actually, it's gonna basically be out of sight from both Ripley Road and Highway A. He's actually got a guy coming and cutting down one of the big limbs that goes over, so it'll be set back by the tree line in the back of his property. And it's 12 feet high,
Yeah.
12 feet high at the peak.
Yeah.
10-foot door, 32 by 30, to put all of his stuff in, so his yard looks nicer.
Does it-
It's gonna sit, if you drive by my house on A, there's a row of pine trees in the back. It's gonna fit in the back next to them, bordering my neighbor's woods. So you probably may not be able to see it from Ripley Road, but you can see it from A.
It was easy right before he came to the plan committee, because there was an old shed with a blue roof that you could say, that's where it's going, but he took it down after we
Yeah.
recommended.
Took it down so that we'd have a place to put the big one up.
So, that's pretty much the issue. The plan committee reviewed it, they recommended approval by the board. So I would entertain a motion to grant the conditional use permit.
So moved.
Need a second?
Sure, I'll second. How tall is it?
At the peak, 12 feet, the door is 10 feet high.
The height of the joists are 12 feet, and top of the garage itself is like 16 feet.
Oh, is it? Okay, sorry.
So, the top of the peak.
My mistake.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We will send paperwork to the county, and they will be in touch with you as to when it will be scheduled for their
Yes.
Zoning Committee.
Yeah, that comes up, I don't, there's, yeah.
Well, there's one this coming week. I don't know whether they'll get to you this,
Right.
or they'll get to you a little bit
We had
later,
talked to
but-
them. Okay, well, thank you
So-
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome to the area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been
Thank
back
you.
and forth between
Thank you all.
Columbus and Fall River for 9 years.
Okay.
Okay, second item on that is we have a change in the zoning, county planning zoning, and some changes in then their plan and regulation. It has to do with putting in A3 lots. And they, in essence, in one set of circumstances, have made it much harder to put in an additional A3 lot, and in other circumstances, they have made it easier. And it depends on when the A3 lot was created, before which county ordinance was approved, and now if it's after the 2001, it's different. So it's a little bit convoluted trying to read through and figure it out. The point of it is they're trying to, in a way, allow for some more A3 lots in the agricultural preservation area. However, they are going to be really strict on whether or not there is productive farmland that's being taken out of service. And that's going to be, if you come in and you've got, productive farmland and you want to make an A3, it's not going to happen. If it's unproductive farmland and you meet these other criteria, you can maybe get more than you would have prior to this change. So I tried reading through it again today to see if there was an easy way to explain it, and there's not really. It just has to do with when they adopted which plan and what you had at that time, and then what you want to do now. It's been really interesting as we've been talking about this. We've had a couple of different people approach us trying to figure out what they can do and can't do. One's down on Erkey Road that it looks like maybe in one sense she could have 2 A3 lots on a 50-plus acre parcel, and then when you start applying the issue of whether you're taking, because for the county, woods are productive farmland. So if you want to go in, one of the lots she wants to do is woods, and taking woods out, put a house in. So it becomes, no, you can have one now where you want it. And then another one, they're agreeing to take a parcel, and they were 2 different, but they're under one ownership. 2 different parent parcels on either side of the road, but they'll combine them and let you put one on the other side. So it's gotten a little convoluted. It's going to be a little tough for us to do it, because we're also a little bit stricter than the county is in the number of splits and A3 lots we allow. So, but overall, I would say that their efforts to clean up some of the stuff and deal with some of the older lots and make it a little bit easier is probably a good move. So, Plan Committee again recommends approval by the town board. So I would entertain a motion to approve the Jefferson County Planning and Zoning for an amendment to section 11-04, parentheses F8 of the county zoning ordinance to allow for redivision of existing A3 lots.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, last item that we have under the Plan Committee is discussion with Mr. Didion on the approval of the preliminary plot. On all of your tables is a large thing which if you unroll that, you'll be looking at the preliminary plot. And let me get mine here. There have been some revisions made to this, and we had some smaller copies, and that some of us are getting older and having difficulty reading them. I marked the corrections on the big plat. So the first part that you're looking at is the eastern section of the property. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see for future development marked as multifamily. And John, your intention is to find a subcontractor to do that
To develop that property.
and stuff. So that's, we specified because in accordance with our plan, it needs to provide housing for all ages. Coming down just into the roadway, there's a center island that has been drawn in this plot that will be removed. Becomes an issue of us maintaining that, depending on what it is. Is it planting? Is it, this, that, the other thing? It's just easier to remove it. There is a right-hand turn lane coming in from 18
All
that
right.
comes in there, and then lanes going out. John, there's a bypass on the right-hand, so
Yes.
for left-hand turns, there is a bypass lane
Yes.
that goes along there.
So they can come in but not go out on 18?
No, they cannot come in on 18 at all. We'll talk
Oh, I
about
thought
that
you said
on the
that.
next, page, when we turn the page. Just coming down then, you see something that was marked future parkland. It is, again, future development, and that is open as to what kind of development that will be. And then the other change that took place is there was an open space here, kind of on the far left end, and it's been divided into a developable lot and then an open outlot. And you see a lot of outlots that talk about stormwater maintenance facility. These are tentative. They will be finalized in the final plat, and at that point they will have been reviewed by DNR and worked out to exactly what they will look at. So while you'll see a lot of them, we will probably end up with way less. I would then flip to the next page. This is then the western section of this part of the development. Couple of things worth noting. Up to the very top, the far right-hand corner, you see an area that indicates potential future access to Highway 18. We've had so many conversations with the Department of Transportation, and we have no answers. And so what we asked, and county zoning also asked, is can we just put in a spot that if it comes through that we can get access off to 18, this is where it will be, so we know where it is. My confidence level is pretty low on this after 3 years of talking with them. So the other thing, there was a concern about wetland setbacks, and I just highlighted one or two places where there are several places where you'll see where wetland setbacks were incorporated and marked, and so that there is attention being paid to that. And then you see a rather large lot here, which is basically all wetland for the most part, except for a small area way to the left. And John, at this point, is talking about donating that as open space land, which meets the requirement that both we and the county have for that. So that's one other thing. Otherwise, John, what have I missed? I think those are most of the changes that we had. So the process now would go into, if we approve this, it goes on to the county, their county zoning committee has this on its agenda. This would give us the ability to start filling in more details, actually doing the work on the water management and systems and working with DNR and laying out some things a little bit better. This is roughly 60, 62 single-family homes in this. And the plan that we've talked about and is in our developer's agreement really allows for John to do it in phases. And, you know, if you think about it, what phase makes most sense? The first phase is where you put the road in, is where you're going to start and go from there. Then there are there's a topographical map in the back, and then just kind of another overview of all of that.
So is there there's supposed to be parkland?
That will be the open space land here. We designate it as open space on developed land.
Okay.
So,
Approximately 22 acres of land.
yeah, which is beyond, way beyond what we would require. We would normally require 5%, I think, of the developed land. So, questions, comments, John, other comments on this?
I think you did a good job covering it, Ted.
The plan committee spent time with John going through this a couple of weeks ago, and they recommended approval going on to and passing it on to the county.
Could I have a question?
Sure, Virginia.
John, I was just wondering, as far as the 60 to 62 single family, is that the maximum, or is that the starting point?
That's pretty much the maximum for single-family units.
Yeah.
And there's also an area for 55-plus housing as well as multiple-family housing.
So the other, maybe the other areas we're holding to try and, in fact, we've had initial conversations with someone who's interested in multifamily development and doing that. So.
And what would be the, if everything just goes swimmingly, and you meet all the requirements of all the different authorities, when would this probably be able to be occupied? Any projection?
So with the approval of the preliminary plan, we will start the final design and engineering, stormwater, sewer, roads, parklands, and we anticipate, if all goes well, construction could probably start this time next year.
Has there been any study done on what the impact would be for police, fire on this increase in the population for our town?
We have a traffic study that's been done that shows us the number of trips and things and the impact that would have. We've had meetings at the very beginning with the school, with fire, EMS, and our police department involved, along with several other agencies that said, this is what we're looking at, this is what the possible impact is. We've had those basic discussions, so everybody's been made aware of this. Beyond that, the most statistical relevant one was the traffic study, because it talks about the number of trips in and out every day. And I will tell you that I don't have that off the top of my head. So, but we have feelings on that. So.
Sir, roughly what are the price points that you would anticipate for the homes in the single family?
The price of the homes or the price of the lots?
Just both, if you have both. I'm just curious what type of demographic there you're looking at.
Lot prices will start in the low 70s and probably be ranged to the upper 90s, maybe 110,000 for some of the larger lots. I don't have a good sense of what home costs are these days to put them.
But what would you be targeting, you know, in terms of construction quality and this, you know, the sizes?
Well, it's, I think there are two things. The plus 55 housing that there seems to be a lot of interest in would be smaller lots, smaller homes in the 1,600 to possibly 2,000 square foot homes. And I would guess that the upper range of square footage for some of the larger homes would be in the 3,000, 3,200 square feet.
One of the easy ways to tell is start looking at the size of the lots. These are not all the same size. They are different sizes in different locations, so that there will be a variety of housing just based on the lot and what goes in there. So that's one of the things that we saw that we liked, is rather than just be 55 foot or 80 feet.
So not necessarily like the development by the winery?
No. Yes, ma'am.
Will this have an HOA covenant on it, or any type of situation like that that's going to be brought into the neighborhood? Payments, like fees or any additional HOA type situation?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
The homeowner.
So will there be any additional HOA fees or a covenant or anything has that been discussed of what that neighborhood looks like and what they need to abide by? No RVs on the street, you know, such things like that.
There will be a homeowners association that will maintain the common areas.
Okay.
I don't anticipate those expenses to be very high, or those fees to be very high. And that will be up to the homeowners as to what that all will encompass.
Okay, again, I'm to the point where we would entertain a motion to approve and pass on to the county the preliminary plat.
I'll move to approve the preliminary plat of Oakland Hills subdivision.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second it.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we sent out requests for bids for the garbage and recycling service. We asked that those bids be in today. However, we're going to defer opening those until our October 17th meeting and making an award at that time. We have received responses from LRS, our current vendor, John's Disposal, and Pilotary Waste Systems. And we will be opening those at our town meeting on the 17th.
No, we're going to award them.
We're going to award them.
So we're going to probably open them before, so that you
Okay,
guys can
right.
look at them.
Okay. We're going to open them before, so we know what we're going to award. Okay. Okay. Discussion, possible action on the assessor's contract. His contract ended, I don't know, yesterday or something. So.
I have a proposed contract. Basically, I am proposing a full value maintenance would be a 4-year cycle and viewing approximately 25% of the improved properties annually. And that is a data review. We would not be revaluing that particular viewing area until the 4th year, where the entire municipality would be revalued. But that accomplishes 3 things. The first one is we have a fixed schedule for revaluation. We have a fixed schedule for property viewings. And we also are keeping the records current as far as once every 4 years there's a viewing. And without current records, valuations can get really messy. So we would divide the municipality up into approximately 4 areas and set the viewing schedule up to progress in that cycle. The proposed cost is $36,000 annually, which is basically following a normal maintenance cost with a revaluation on the 4th year. There's basically the sum of the cost divided up on an annual basis.
Okay. Questions for John? I'm of the mindset that we should postpone action on this till we sit down and do a little bit more work on our budget and understand exactly what John's proposed to us, debate and discuss.
Understand that fully, and this is a similar contract. We have 3 other municipalities that are basically on this contract, where we view a portion every year, and then at the end of the 4-year cycle, we do a revaluation.
Okay.
So you would start already next year?
Yes.
But again, that's not on-site, that's taking and re-looking at the data that you have, right?
A data review is checking what we have on the property record card as to what is there. It's actually requesting a viewing of the improvements on the property.
Agreed to postpone this consideration for a month while we work on other budget stuff too.
I would make a motion that we postpone it for a month while we work on the budget and give us an opportunity to review this.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Correspondence, Susan?
There was a letter from Oakland resident in your packet, and then a couple court dockets.
Okay.
I believe it was August and September
Okay.
court dockets.
Okay. Approval of disbursements.
I'll make a motion that we approve disbursements beginning with electronic funds transfer to the Wisconsin Retirement System through and including electronic funds transfer 538-11173 in the aggregate amount of $154,722.51.
Second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next board meeting
can I-
will... Yes.
Under correspondence, we did receive that email as well.
That was the letter from
That's
the
what she
resident.
said.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what's in here.
No.
Okay,
And the rest of it is court dockets. There's 10 pages of court dockets,
yeah,
so.
all right.
Okay. Next meeting, board meeting is October 17th, 2023. We now need a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.